Maybe there's a way to start a business without a whole bunch of really hard physical labor at the outset, but I have not found it, at least not in this business. My sleep schedule was still off from a couple nights ago. I got to bed very late and I had my alarm set for about 7 a.m. so I could meet with the police officer for the safety compliance review. But he woke me up at 6 a.m. with a text saying that he couldn't make it due to a family emergency and said that maybe we could do it remotely instead. This was kind of ironic since when I had told him that I couldn't make the initial scheduled meeting and gave him advance notice, he threatened to shut down my business and fine me as a result. But things happen. I think he legitimately thought I was just trying to get out of the compliance review, which was not completely off my mind. And I thought it might be nice to do a remote one anyway. So I worked with him, spent about 2 hours in the morning sending over all the documentation he asked for. And then he followed up with he would still like to meet me and I need to set time aside on Thursday. Anyways, I was up and going, so I spent some time trying to get the, quote, new trailer ready. The fact that I have any trailer at all is, I suppose, a benefit, but the trailer is anything other than new or ready. One of my main goals for the day was to remove all of the extra stuff that came on it when it was a yard boat trailer for yard moves for a very large houseboat, and hopefully get the weight down under 2,500 pounds so I didn't have to register it at the higher weight class, wait for the state of Michigan to assign and affix a VIN number to it and everything else. This is one of those jobs that you think is just going to take 30 minutes or so, you'll be on your way, and then somehow it ends up consuming half the day, or in this case, almost the entire day. I was doing pretty good with the job until the only disc on my angle grinder broke. It was to be expected, that happens sometimes, but the issue is I have many discs for the angle grinder, none of them handy or somewhere I felt that I might as well go find them. I believe that most of them are in my storage unit, who knows where. So when that happened, I decided to call it quits for a little bit, run into town, grab lunch, and grab some discs. I wanted to get Chinese food for lunch. I planned to go get a Chinese buffet on my company card. But I just started to think about it and I realized this is one of those things where nobody's looking out for the best interest of my business other than myself. It's very easy to spend money on things like getting food on the road that I don't really need to spend it on. So I decided to go scrounge up whatever I could at my workplace, at which I also live on site. Whatever was in the leftovers or the free-for-all pile. And what I came up with was a bag of holiday-themed chips. And there was no salsa, but there was fig jam. I figured that maybe the fig jam would pair pretty well with the salty chips, sweet and salty, yes, and the usual flavor combination, but I figured it just might work. As it turns out, fig jam is absolutely disgusting, and even more so when it clumps up and you can choose between none or all of it at once. So I gave up on that plan in pretty short order and poured the chips into a bowl of leftover beans and rice. Not bad. Upon returning from town, where I purchased only the discs and some chicken because the beans and rice just weren't quite enough, I got restarted on the project and it was really just a matter of buzzing off all of the bolts and connections that held the pieces of wood onto the trailer. As I was doing this, I was just thinking about the upcoming couple of weeks and what it is I really need to prioritize. I have $2,900 in the bank from my business so far. It's up from $500, and that sounds really good. But I know when it comes to bigger shipments and the needs surrounding them, that $2,900 can disappear really fast. I'm preparing this trailer for the shipment that's coming from Alaska. One of my concerns with that shipment is I don't have anything definitive lined up on the way up to Alaska yet. I have my eyes on a box truck being sold at $1,500, which seems like it could be a good replacement for my van and a great vehicle to tow on the way up to Alaska and possibly pick up a load that I'm looking at on UShip. It's a $1,900 load, boxes, suitcases, art, going from Pennsylvania to Alaska. But the risk with all of these potential purchases is sinking my money into things that may or may not pay off. There's so many different ways to look at it. It could be better to just keep the truck that I'm already financing. It could be better to let the truck go and purchase some cheap box truck. I could get commercial insurance before I do this trip and spend $2,100 out of my $2,900. Or I could go without it, risking legal complications and the possibility of cargo damage without insurance, although I've already communicated to my customer who has a plane moving down from Alaska that I do not carry cargo insurance. There's just a lot to think about, a lot of factors, and important decisions to make.